We'll just give it 30 more seconds and then we'll get cracking.
Hey, morning, Tom.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I thought I recognised that name.
Yeah,
I thought
Hello,
I might
mate.
get a smile or two.
You're a bit black and white, mate. What's going
yeah, I
on?
like it. You like, he's from the future or from the past.
I was thinking, is that just me that can see that? No one's commented yet.
I love it.
No idea what's going on.
Very
That's
artistic.
impressive, that, yeah.
I didn't create it that way.
So David's managed to work it out somehow.
Yeah, come on, Tom.
Last
Yeah, you
week
look
I
like
was in
you look like
colour.
a black and white. You look like you've been cut out of a black and white newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week I was in colour for sure.
Yeah.
Next
You need
week
to
I've
get
got
out
no
of the house
chance.
more, mate. Get some sun.
Yeah.
It doesn't represent my mood anyway.
That's good.
Always smiling.
Finally found a decent HPE Aruba partner. I've been looking for one for a while. No one could deliver, so I finally found an Aruba partner that's done a great job at unis and colleges. So I'm very happy to be here.
Cool.
Nice.
Amazing.
All right, so we get cracking. Good morning. I'm Steve Kemp, one of the Aruba business development managers at Westcoast. Thanks for joining us on today's webinar, which is an introduction into Aruba Instant On for our Ignite partners. Westcoast relaunched the Instant On range at the start of February, and I'm glad to say we've got Ollie and Gareth from Aruba who will be presenting for us today and showing you the product in action. So today's webinar, we've actually kept the groups kind of small, so we kind of want to keep it as interactive as possible. So please feel free to jump in. You should be able to unmute your microphones and ask questions, or if you want to drop a question in the chat, please feel free to do so. You know, it's your chance to basically pick the brain of the experts, and hopefully you can find some value in that for us today. So anyway, I will pass over to Ollie now, and we can get started.
Thanks very much, Steve. And yeah, morning, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. My name is Ollie, and I basically run all things SMB for Aruba in the UK and I. And what falls within that is the Aruba Instant On portfolio. So pleasure to be presenting to that with you this morning. And I'm also joined by Gareth, who I'll let quickly give himself an introduction. Morning, Gareth.
Morning, all. Yeah, so my name's Gareth Knight. I'm an Aruba channel SE, and I've got the dubious pleasure of being Ollie's technical right-hand man for all things Instant On. So I'll be doing a bit of a demo today just to highlight how simple and straightforward Instant On is to get set up and running, and answer any questions you've got.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Gav. Well, yeah, so, I mean, we've got an hour session today. Like Steve said, it's a limited group for a particular reason. So feel free to unmute yourself, put questions in at any time. I do like to ramble on, so please just jump in if needed. But yeah, we've probably got around 15 minutes, 20 minutes on some slides, and then Gareth's going to run through his wonderful demo for us for Aruba Instant On. So without further ado, let's jump into the presentation. So Aruba Instant On, what actually is it? Well, 99% of the world's organizations are SMBs, and in the modern day environment, with all of the technological advancements, a network has become a necessity, right? Consumers want a high performing, secure, reliable network, and they're demanding more for less. But there are two major challenges of SMBs. Number one is that they have the limited in-house technical resources. You know, they don't have the individuals who have perhaps degrees in computer science or regularly configuring highly complex networks, right? They just don't have those capabilities in-house. And number two is a limited budget. SMBs don't have the budget to go and afford these very expensive, enterprise solutions that, for the actual use case in question, are over spec and over complex for what they're actually dealing with. And so Aruba a leader in networking, specializing in use cases such as the Ryder Cup, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, saw that there was a real opportunity to leverage their enterprise grade technology and put it into a small business package that's far more suitable for these SMBs, where simplicity is the absolute backbone of everything. And so that led to the birth of Aruba Instant On, a simple, smart, secure, cloud managed networking solution. And so the brand has been running for around 5 years now, and it's really growing from strength to strength within the market, trying to pick up some good amount of market share now. And it's a pleasure to be presenting it to you today. So let's jump in. Let's take a look at Instant On in a bit more detail. So to start, I'll draw your attention to the top left-hand side of your screen on the desktop. So you can see there our Aruba Instant On Cloud Portal. So whether you logging in online to the portal or going on your mobile application, you can manage your Aruba Instant On portfolio from wherever you are, right? It's a fully cloud managed networking solution by one product family. So whether you're at your desk, away, on the beach, wherever it may be, hopefully you aren't making your network configuration changes on a beach, but if you want to, you have the capability to go and do so. Single pane of glass. So whether you're logging on the portal online or on your mobile application, you have almost exactly the same interactions with the portal. It's not like you can make more changes by logging online than on your mobile application. It's pretty much exactly the same consumer experience. Easy to use. So I touched on the fact that simplicity is the backbone of Aruba Instant On. Anybody can set up their network with this portfolio. You don't need any degrees, you don't need any history at all. I mean, before I started this role, I had no networking experience at all, and even I could do it right. It is that simple. You can have your network up and running within minutes. I think the fastest time we have had is someone doing it while making a cup of coffee. It literally is that simple, that easy to have your network up and running in a very, very short period of time. Superb performance. So we touched on Aruba, a leader in the networking space. All the R&D, all the investment that they've put into those enterprise grade products are installed within the Aruba Instant On portfolio. If you take a look at some of the APs, for example, an AP22, if you flip the product over, it's actually an AP505. So it's exactly the same actual device itself with that enterprise grade quality. But what they've done is they've just limited a few features and capabilities in order to differ between the two portfolios. And value and flexibility. So the simplicity of your Aruba Instant On network doesn't just stop at the setting up of the technology itself, but also how you purchase it. So it's a one-time hardware purchase. When you purchase either a switch or access point, your cloud portal is included completely for free. So there are no license fees, subscription fees, management fees. Even if you look at any of the other competitor brands, and there's no controllers that you need, additional devices. It's as simple as that. You buy your hardware and your cloud portal comes completely free. I think there are, before I go into a bit more depth on the actual products themselves, just a couple of things I wanted to point out that differ the Instant On portfolio to the enterprise side of Aruba's operations. So to start, you have per site a 50 networking device limit. So that means you have up to a combination of 50 devices of either access points and switches. So for example, 5 switches and 45 access points, right? So that's the limitation that you have currently with this portfolio. Again, we touched on the portal itself, which you can see there. On the cloud portal, you can have up to 500 sites, so 500 individual sites that you can manage on your Aruba Instant On cloud portal. So I just wanted to put those two differentiators in there so you guys have a good understanding of sort of the maximum it goes up to before you need to look at the enterprise side of Aruba's operations. So let's take a quick look at the portfolio. I won't go into too much detail, but this is what we have had to date. So we had a series of Wi-Fi 5 access points, which are your AP1 series, as you can see here. So, for example, AP11, AP12. But we also have had 2 Wi-Fi 6 access points in the AP22, which you can see there is Wi-Fi 6 certified, and our AP25. This is how we've been operating for around 2 years now. The AP22 itself, a really high performing product. It won the SMB Networking Product of the Year from the CRN Awards in 2021. So really, really high performing products. And this is how we've been operating, right? The real difference is you sort of go up the stack is that your features and functionalities increase, but so does your price point as well. But as of around the last month, we now have 4 brand new Wi-Fi 6 access points within the portfolio. So with Aruba Instant On, you now have a full Wi-Fi 6 offering available to yourselves. As I touched on, as you go up from left to right, your features and functionalities increase, but so does your price point as well. So to give you a couple of the key ideas and differences, if I draw your attention to the AP21 down there, in the bottom left-hand corner, our brand new entry-level Wi-Fi 6 product, you're sort of looking at up to around 50 devices per AP, a price point that seems to be more competitive, so cheaper than the competitors in the market. So most noticeably, Ubiquiti, right? So really high-performing product at a fantastic price from distribution at that entry-level Wi-Fi 6. We also have our brand new AP32, which is our first Wi-Fi 6E access point within the portfolio. Again, you can see that they've all been through the Wi-Fi Alliance and are certified, which is another differentiator of all of our APs versus the competitions within this Wi-Fi 6 space. One of our coolest products that we've just recently released is the AP22D. So this one is particularly good for sort of your hospitality use cases, where it can act in switching capabilities and access point capabilities as well. So the product itself has one 2.5 GBE uplink port, but also 4 1 GB downlink ports as well. So you have both capabilities, and 2 of those ports can be supplied with class 6 PoE as well. So I think it's around 30 watts if you were to choose 1 port of PoE, or 15 watts if you were to do 2 of the ports on that product. And finally, you know, great that we've also got the outdoor opportunity for you as well. So it's not like the portfolio can't serve in particular use cases. So with the AP27, recently released our brand new Wi-Fi 6 outdoor AP, IP67 rating. So I think we do have cold temperatures in the UK, but we shouldn't be getting down to minus 40 degrees Celsius, which is sort of the maximum level that it reaches. And vice versa, I don't think we'll get anywhere near 60 degrees Celsius, because it's always pretty cold. But yeah, you've got that there as well. So it's a really ruggedized outdoor access point that's fantastic and won't go down with you with your outdoor use cases. If you're looking at, for example, school playgrounds, an outdoor bar area, you have that full availability there. So that's the range we have. Like I said, particularly comes up against Ubiquiti within this space, but also we hear the likes of TP-Link. But you have an access point basically there for every use case available within this more SMB space. So I won't go into too much detail. It's a very, very texty slide here, but this just gives you a bit of a summary as to what I've been talking about and covers a bit more of the technical sides of the products that are available. So you can see that AP21, as we said, entry-level Wi-Fi 6 with your up to 50 devices. You're looking at really the lowest sort of demand on your network use cases. So let's talk like home networks, small spaces. But as you build your way up to that AP25, sort of the highest level of the Wi-Fi 6 offering that we have, you're looking at those use cases with the greatest demand on your network. So for example, hospitality, gaming, and I guess you go up to by the radius as well to a 4x4. So you can see that it increases as you go from left to right. And obviously we touched on more of the hospitality AP in the 22D and the outdoor access point in the 27. Just a nice little cut up for you there. And we can send the slides out afterwards, so don't worry if you haven't seen all the information on there. So obviously we've done the wireless side of the portfolio, but we also have a wired side as well. So I touched on at the start of the presentation that there was one product family which is unmanaged, and that is our 1430 series. So literally very, very basic, plug and play, off you go. It won't be included as one of your 50 device limits when you go on the portal. So you plug in, it won't be recognized on the portal itself. So it completely is an unmanaged switch series. And then again, as you go from left to right here, your features and functionalities increase, but so does your price point as well. So let's just touch on the main differences here. At 1830, you have partial PoE, so only half of the ports are giving you those PoE capabilities. As you move up to a 1930 series, layer 2 plus smart managed switch, you have a full PoE across all of those ports there. And as you go up to your 1960, this is where you really get those highest level of capabilities. So we've got stacking capabilities available, class 6 PoE, 600 watts of PoE available on the 48 port model. So you really are getting up to those use cases where you have the greatest amount of demand on your network. So an extensive offering available, with all of them coming in 8, 24 and 48 port options. We also have a multi-gig access switch in the 1960 as well, which has been recently introduced in sort of, I guess, the last 6 to 8 months. But this goes into a bit more detail again on what we were talking about there. Similar to the AP slide, I won't go into too much detail, but you can see starting at sort of the very bottom level, your home office, your really budget constrained SMEs or SMBs, depending on how you refer to them, all the way up to those use cases with the greatest demand on your network. So boutique hotels, high powered tech startups, so on and so forth. So that's everything from a portfolio perspective, but one thing that really differs the Aruba Instant On brand versus the competition within the market is the support options that we have available. So you can see here that you have some really good standard warranty options available on the product set. So to start, if we look at the access points, with your 2-year standard warranty, you get next business day shipment, arrival, and 24 telephone support you have for 90 days. But I was recently doing an ASOS return, and I was speaking to one of those bots online, not an actual individual. And it's an absolute nightmare, right? It does my head in, the fact that you can't speak to someone. I wasn't getting anywhere. And so for me, the telephone support is really, really important. So if you want to upgrade it, and make sure that you're speaking to someone for the full period by which you're have your foundation care package, you can buy in either 3 or 5 years. And you can see that it's not just your telephone support that increases as well, but also your software support goes from 90 days to the full-time period, and your part replacement maintains next business day arrival for the full period rather than just the first 30 days. And again, on the switches, your standard warranty is very, very good. 5 years after end of sale with your limited lifetime option that is available. But again, if you did want to increase that level of support, you have those foundation care options available in the 3 or 5 year period. I think one thing that's really important to touch on here is that the support line and the support options that you go through with the SMB portfolio is exactly the same as the enterprise. So it's the same line. So it's not like as an SMB, you're going to have a lower level of service in the support section. You will still maintain that highest level. So we're not going to go down on you. But we do like to say fundamentally, it is the best tech support that you will never need to use, because hopefully the portfolio sorts that all out for you. Anyway, so in summary, this is our Aruba Instant On brand promise. So simplicity, I touched on the real backbone of the Instant On portfolio. Anybody can set it up and have your network up and running in minutes. Built-in security, all of the products have the latest security standards, so they are WPA3 authenticated. Extraordinary performance, Aruba, leader in networking, all the investment, R&D has been installed into these SMB products. So you have really the highest performing networking products within the SMB market. No hidden fees. So we touched on it's that one-time hardware purchase. So as an SMB, you have no additional costs coming out of your organization. Very important. And trusted vendor, we've touched on the support options. Aruba's been around for, I think it's over 23 years now. So we're not going to go down on you. And you have the support options there to make sure you're comfortable with the product. This is just a couple of customer wins we wanted to touch on. Whilst we do refer to it being as like the SMB portfolio, it does go and serve those recognizable brands as well. A brand I know a bit too familiar in my personal life is Pizza Hut, but we've had a great consumer win there. But I'll touch on the one that we did with CVS Group. So CVS, basically a leader in delivering veterinary services. They purchase basically a load of local practices, train them up, and then make sure that they're delivering the best veterinary service possible. Now, at these local practices, they had perhaps one or two staff members that were just dealing with animal operations, general checkups. And so a full high-end enterprise solution for the actual use case in question was over spec. And they were in particularly very conscious of the budget that they had available. So with the Aruba Instant On portfolio, they were able to serve their local practices with a switch and a couple of access points that still gave them that highest level of performance that they needed, but at a much more affordable price. And they rolled out this Aruba Instant On product set across 500 of their sites, across 3 different countries as well, right, across Europe. So the Aruba Instant On portfolio does give you that offering as well to go and tackle perhaps those slightly larger use cases than you would think at first glance. One thing that's really important with the Aruba Instant On brand is that you also have the Action Partner Club. So the Action Partner Club was created in order to help incentivize, but also support our resellers working with the Aruba Instant On brand. And there are loads of benefits of working with the Action Partner Club, but the one that sort of gets everyone's ears ringing are the rebates that are available. So the Action Club is completely free to sign up to. And if you sign up and start trading with the Aruba Instant On portfolio, you get a 4% cashback on any of your sales with the product set. So completely free to sign up to, and all of the trades you make with the product, you will get a 4% cashback on. That value will total up over your quarter. So for us, we run from November to end of October. So for example, let's take a quarter of November to January. You start trading through and through and through. And then at the end of January, you have a cutoff point where your rebates have been total up. And then you can claim to receive them within 60 days of the final day of the quarter. So really great incentive to sort of sign up to the club and get money back basically almost for free. And you also get, as a moment, if you're a new partner, you will get a 20% cashback on your first purchase between $100 to $1,000. So that will be converted into local currency, but that is the sign-up offer we have today. But say that you really like the Instant On portfolio, you're trading it, you're doing it in much bigger volumes, you're working with it regularly. You also have the Action Premier partner available. So everyone will start as an Action partner that signs up. But like I said, if you're doing those greater volumes, you can upgrade to an Action Premier partner. And that is where you are selling more than 15K a quarter in Instant On. But consequently, your rebates increase as well. So you can see there, you jump up from 4 to 5% rebate if you're trading at a minimum of 15K. And if you go all the way up to 100K a quarter, then you get an 8% rebate available as well. So it's basically ensuring that you're rewarded for working with the portfolio and you have money coming back into your organization just working with the technology. Last couple of slides, then I will promise I'll pass you over to Gareth. But this is just the journey summarized. You can see you start with your 4% and then it increases as you go up working on the volumes with the portfolio. But it's not just the rebates that are available. Like I said, there are loads of benefits available. So if you log onto the portal, which is what it looks like here, you have the latest marketing content, co-branded versions available, and the latest news, information, training that's available as well. So if you wanted to improve your understanding of the products, you've also got all the data sheets available. So everything that you need to be successful in selling the Aruba Instant On portfolio is included in this portal, completely free of charge, right? You could sign up today and never use it again, but all of that is available for you for free. Final point is, how do you actually purchase the technology? Well, all of it is instantaneously priced with distribution. So if you're buying from, say, our SmartBook OPG, you get as many products as you want at a certain price. But if you're, like I said, maybe on that Action Premier side and you're working with the portfolio regularly, If you buy in those larger quantities, buying in bundles, then you also get an additional 5% upfront discount off that net smart brick price. So if you do work on those greater bundles, not only do you have an incentive on the back end, but you also have an incentive on the front end with those upfront discounts as well. That's everything from me. A little bit longer than expected, but has anybody got any questions before I hand over to Gareth?
None by the sounds of it.
Silence is great.
I've got some
Oh,
questions on it, but I'll
David.
probably save them to the end.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah,
There's
no
a Q&A
problem.
at the end, right?
Cool. Yeah, we can wait
Yep.
to the end. All right. Well then, without further ado, Gareth, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Ollie. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, got
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yes.
Excellent. I won't go on camera because I'm stuck on ADSL, so tends to get a bit choppy sometimes when I'm doing too much. But what I'm going to do is demonstrate to you the Aruba Instant On web-based portal, which is what you can see in front of you, and also the app. And what I'm going to do is actually build a site or a network using the app, so you can see just how easy it is for your dad or your nan to actually make this work. Ollie said himself, he didn't have any technical experience and he was able to do it. I think we did a session a couple of weeks ago and someone said they got their granddad to set it up. It was that easy. So the whole point about this is it's simple, it's straightforward, doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of effort, but you get that sort of enterprise grade performance from the access points and the switches. So basically what you do is you log on or you connect to the Aruba Instant On portal page. If you haven't got an account, all you've got to do is click up here, pop your email address in, put a password in, sign your life away with these two tick boxes, create an account, and you're sorted. Obviously, in Blue Peter tradition, here's one I prepared earlier, so I'm just going to sign in. He says, there we go, and this is what you'll see. This is a site that I've already built. It's at a friend's house, just so I've got some content to show you. So what you've got are these 4 tiles here. So you've got the networks that you've created, which is the process you go through when you do your first setup, so you can create your SSIDs, any VLANs you need on your switches. Then you've got any connected clients on the network. So you can see here we've got some, just some MAC addresses. We don't know everything that's connected, but we can see there's some Echo devices, there's a RoboVac, there's a TV connected. So, we get some good visibility of the devices that are connected. We can go in and we can block these clients if we want to. If we don't know what they are, or we don't like them, we can see what applications they're using. We can see, the TV there, that's doing lots of streaming, obviously, because it's probably they're probably watching Netflix all the time. So there's a good amount of information that we can see there. We can get some information on our inventory, so we can see which APs we've got connected. We've got an AP11D here, an AP11, a couple of AP11s, and the switch that they're all connected to. And in here we can go in, we can do some basic configuration activities. We can set a static IP, we can do some routing, we can enable jumbo frames. We can do some .1x stuff in here. We can add any of our VLANs that we've put in. Obviously I created this one previously. So and again, the focus is on simplicity. You're not getting full featured switch capabilities. Similarly on the access points, we can say, show this network, don't show that network, that sort of thing. We can do some basic radio power and channel settings. But again, as I said, the focus is really on making things simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a new site with I've got a couple of switches, couple of APs, and a switch that I've already got powered up. They're blinking orange at me, waiting to be linked to a site. So what I'm going to do, if you can you see my phone on the right hand side?
Yes, yeah,
cool. So I'm just going to set up a new site here. And again, it's so straightforward. It's basically just click through. It gives you all the information. I'm just going to choose a switch for what I'm going to connect. It tells you, make sure it's powered on and connected to the internet. Plug it in. Make sure the orange light is flashing, which I can verify it is. Find my device. Now, what you can do here, if you're remote, what you can do is type in the serial number of the device, but obviously you need to know what that is. If you're on site, you can tap there for scan QR. So what you can do is either scan the serial number there, or there's a QR code. Hold on, there we go. And what that's done is pick up all 3 devices that I've got connected to this network. Simple as that. So we can add those in, and we can create a network. So let's call it Ignite. And this is a Wi-Fi network, by the way. So we'll just put a password in here. Continue. We're United Kingdom. It's already put the name Ignite as the site name. Continue, and it's done. Show it to me. What we can do, we can go straight in. We can see we've got our active network that we set up, which is set up, and it's created a default VLAN. Well, it's not created a default VLAN. It's given us a default VLAN of 1, and we can see our devices, and they're just synchronizing now. So this is the point you go and make your cup of coffee, just to make sure that any software updates are done, any config is pushed out, and that's it. So if I go here, site management. Oh, sorry, actually no, beg your pardon. If I go here, sign out, sign back in again, we should see, he says, hopefully, the site we just created. And that didn't take, I don't think you've got your milk and your coffee yet, have you, Ollie, for that one? So I can
not yet, yeah.
Not yet, no, exactly. So again, so we can go in, we can see, we're seeing exactly the same information. If I go and look at the devices, we can see they're synchronizing. We're seeing the same information on the app as we are on the portal. We can go in and we can do some settings in here. Same thing up here. So as Ollie said in his presentation, there's nothing you can't do on the portal that you can't do in the app. Okay. So while they're synchronizing, let's just see whether that network's popped up yet. I don't think it will do just yet. So we'll just keep that there. And that's it, really. It's as simple as that. You can have, I don't know if Ollie mentioned it, you can have up to 500 sites in your portal, and each site can be comprised of up to 25 switches or access points. So that's a fairly big network you can create. Obviously, this is aimed at SMBs, so in a lot of cases, it might be a coffee shop or a pub or anything like that. And you can just see there the SSIDs just popped in. So I'm going to connect to that. You'll probably see my phone drop off briefly while I connect. Got the password right first time. Excellent. So my phone has frozen on the screen, but it should pop back any minute now, he says. Hopefully. Just pop back to the screen there. It's letting me down. I'm going to stop sharing, stop mirroring, mirror again. Now it's back. I thought Max was supposed to work. There we go. There we go. So I'm now on the Ignite network that I just created. I can see one connected client. That's my phone. It's not actually worked out that it's a phone yet. And that's me. I'm connected. So in that short space of time, obviously you've got to wait for the APs and the switches to actually do their boot up process. But in the space of me showing you creating a site, we've got all 3 devices online, and we've got a client connected. So it doesn't really get much simpler than that. And that's it. That's me, I think. Any questions? Anything you'd like to see in terms of capabilities or functionality within the portal?
I've got a few, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course, please.
So I read that Instant Only's got APIs to NordVPN.
Does it?
I think so.
Are you sure that's not Aruba Instant?
No, I thought it was Instant. I thought it was Instant On. So
Right.
I had a question.
I don't think
around,
we've exposed any APIs in this just yet.
Oh right, okay. I had a question around the VPN setup and split tunneling and those kind of things.
Yeah, so yeah, I think you may be confusing this with Aruba Central. So there's no APIs, there's no tunneling capabilities with Instant On. If you imagine that this is, are you familiar with Aruba Instant?
Yes.
Yeah. So this basically works the same way as Instant does, just with a cut down feature set. So there's no tunneling capabilities or anything like that. So if you wanted to have a client with with a VPN that did do split tunneling, that's fine. We would support that, but there's no API in here to do that.
Oh, okay. That shut me down, hasn't
Sorry.
it?
Ollie, I'm not aware of there being any APIs available in this. Ollie, are there?
Not myself to the extent,
No, I
but it's
I don't think so.
great question. I'll run it back just to double check with the
Yeah,
the
so
PLM team.
these are the. I mean, this is the administration. So again, it's all very. You can delete the site, which is something I do often to do these demos. Change the password, transfer ownership, time zone. We can set up a guest portal as well, so you can go in and create a guest network, and then obviously present a a nice image and your terms and conditions and what have you. And obviously software updates are managed automatically, but you can specify when they happen. But
So
in
I've dropped a sorry, I've
Yeah.
dropped a PDF in, well, a link to a PDF where I got
Yeah.
the information from.
okay,
It might just be that it's compatible. You can set it up within
Yeah.
Instant On.
yeah, I think it's going to be a more client. I'll take a look after the call and pick that up with you if you like.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Just selfishly, because that's the client that I use.
Yeah.
And I was interested to see it working.
I mean, I've got NordVPN on my phone, I think. Let's have a look. I don't think there's any issues with that. Let's choose. Let's go to France. Obviously, well, I mean, that's obviously worked. Well, I mean, when you say an API integration, what are you expecting to get out of that? The ability to bridge traffic to a local printer, but then tunnel stuff. Because that's going to be done by the client software, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But my reading of this was that it was compatible, and I read it as if that you could set it up, at least from a high level, from the cloud controller. But I might be wrong.
I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a chat about it offline so we don't derail this. Sorry.
No, thanks. Good to see. We'll give it a go.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to see in here? I mean, as I said, that the key is simplicity. So we can see, I don't know what this is doing in the background, but we can see that there's this client device is connected here. I can connect an iPad, and it's gonna work exactly as my enterprise APs do in my house. We can see what applications are running. Luckily, no porn today, so I've got some lifestyle stuff. I don't even know what's going back in Apple location. Here we go. That's what it's doing. Any shopping, just some HTTPS, business and economy. So again, once we start seeing this this information, we can go in, much like the Aruba Instant, we can go in and we can actually block. So let's say this was a primary school or something, we could go in and we can set rules up to block adult content, explicit content, gaming, that sort of thing. So we've got those capabilities in there, because obviously that's baked into the hardware itself. But beyond that, there's not a huge amount really to show. We can create another SSID. We could drop that into another VLAN. I don't have a Radius server to be able to do .1x, but that's supported. I'm just wondering if we go.
So in terms of the security, is that what you were just showing us with the overview there of dropping down into the application layer and blocking traffic types?
So I can go in here and I can start. So everything's allowed by default. Let's go. Is there? What could I block? Gambling? Is gambling there? No. I could. I don't want to block porn and try and go to somewhere on my work.
Just in case.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as well, what Gareth is touching on is that at this Instant On level, it blocks by category rather than by individual sites. On that enterprise side, where you can have Facebook unblocked, but let's say Twitter blocked, it's obviously all just categorized at the Instant On level, so you can't go into by site detail.
And you've got a master site list. I guess Aruba have got a master site list at their end that they categorize.
Yeah, I'm sure we could. I haven't actually seen the list, but I'm sure we could find one.
It's going to be based off the same. I think it's Bright Cloud we use.
Yeah.
In the background.
And just moving on from that, then is the ability to block a specific site?
No. Not a specific site. No, not at the moment.
Okay.
As Ollie said, it's done by category, not by specific. So again, this is where we're trying to make that separation between the enterprise grade stuff where you could do that, and just simple. Okay, let's not allow streaming services, for instance, or shopping. Actually, if I block shopping, let's see if I can go to, would that block? Oops. Amazon. Not yet. Might take a little while. Oh, it's waving at me. I've never seen that before. What else did I do? I did gaming, didn't I? So let's go to what's a gaming website? I don't know how.
I guess game in general, probably. Or I guess Miniclip or something like that.
Miniclip. What's that?
Oh gosh, do you know what Miniclip is? No. It's a classic.
Ooh, doesn't look like Steam's working. Ooh. There you go. I can't use Steam. That's a bit mean. What was it called, Ollie? Miniclip.
Yeah, Miniclip. It's a classic from my school days. Unless it's changed.
Well, it doesn't appear to be working. God, it's almost like we planned that one, Ollie. There we go. So I couldn't get onto Steam and I couldn't get onto Miniclip. So there you go. Does work. Nice. But yeah, as we said, it is just by category. So if I tick that now, is that? So obviously it takes a little while for it to go through, but maybe now I've ticked that, maybe it will actually propagate through. I may have to reconnect and let's see. Go there. Oops.
And you mentioned
it's changed.
You mentioned split separate setting up dual SSIDs and VLANs.
Yep, yeah, you can do that. So I can go in here. I can
8 SSIDs per site.
Yeah. So I
sorry, what was that, Ollie? I missed that.
I think you can have 8 SSIDs per site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think most people have just got kind of one for, I don't know, stuff that they don't want on the normal network, right?
Yeah.
There we go. Miniclip just worked. It pushed through. So obviously it was blocking it, and then it's allowed it through now, which is excellent. So yeah. So in terms of networks, again, these are the two that that's very distracting. These are the two that we set up when we actually created the site. If you want to create another one, we can go in here. We can create a wired network. Give it a VLAN ID. Let's go 100. We can specify whether it's voice. We've got some options here, a bit of multicast optimization. We can do some network security protection. It's all just tick boxes, though. We can't get into the, into the reads, if you like. One nice feature, though, is we can sort of specify whether devices connected to this network have got unrestricted access, or they can only access the internet. So it could be treated like a guest port. And if you've got a printer on site they want to access, or you've got some, some services you want to allow in. So it's a bit like an ACL, really. The ACL being you can only access the internet except for these addresses below. Yeah. And that's the same with and then we can specify which ports that's on. Similarly, for a wireless network, we get to choose whether it's employee or guest. So let's go test wireless. And we can specify whether that's PSK, or we've got radio server capabilities in here as well, so we can do .1x. Yeah, and if we specify that as guests, then that's automatically going to set that restricted access here because it's a guest network. You can obviously change it back, but what's the point in creating a guest network if you're going to allow unrestricted access? Well, we've got the schedules as well, so we can actually specify when this SSID is going to be available if you wanted to. It's got fixed and variable, so we can create our own schedules. And then we can specify which devices this one is shown on. So it could be all of them, or just one or two, or up to the 20 or 25 you might have on that site. And then applications, this won't be active until we create the network, and then we'll see what applications are running, and we get that list of tick boxes to be able to restrict what people can
So,
see.
one thing I didn't see there, is the network type.
In
I know
terms
that
of,
I know that a lot of IoT devices aren't 5G enabled.
mm-hmm. Oh, as in what?
So if I wanted to set up, I don't know, a separate network for
just for 2.4 gig.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that actually. Let me just. Pretty sure you can. Let's have a look. Options. There you go. Tick box.
Yeah, I just didn't see that before.
Yeah, I don't think I clicked on this one actually. Sorry. So yeah, you could do that, and you could extend the 2.4 gig range, because those IoT devices don't necessarily need that much bandwidth. And if we enable the lower data rates, then we might be able to get a little bit further for those things like Ring doorbells and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and we've got this capability here as well, which does exist in the instant Aruba instant options, where we can basically NAT the traffic. So we don't give the device an IP address on the local network. It's assigned by the AP. I think it's a 172.16 something, and that traffic gets NATed from the AP onto the wire, just for that additional bit of security. And you can specify what that range is. Did that answer your question on that one?
So you can either prevent it east west or north south as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can put bandwidth limits as well. So the more the more you expand things, we're always adding neat little features to this. But again, the point is, it is for SMB. It's simplicity. Yeah, you can't. There's no CLI. There's no web interfaces on the switch, on the access points. Having said that, with the switch, you can actually drop the switch to what we call local managed mode, which is it's under actions. So we can switch that to what we call local management. Now that will remove it from the portal. So that would then up the number of devices you can have per site, but you lose the capability of managing it through the portal. You have to open a web browser and connect to it. But that does open up a lot of features. These switches do support a lot more than is exposed in the portal in the app. Just so you know, if you look at the management and config guide for the 1930s or the 1960s, it's there. You'll see how much more capabilities the switches have. But if you do that, you can't manage them in the portal. It will disappear from this list, and then I'd have to connect to it in a browser and access it that way. Any other questions? Anything else you'd like to see?
My questions are more general, I guess. I think, having read quite a lot about the Instant On portfolio, what people see, what the reviews seem to say online is that it's more reliable than Ubiquiti and Unify. Obviously, you mentioned the Wi-Fi 6 certification being a differentiator. Are there any other differentiators that we need to know when having conversations with potential customers? Yeah, it looks really easy to spin up, easy to set up, easy to manage, which I guess for SMB is perfect. Is there anything else that we need to be dropping in our conversations with customers?
I think as well, when you're talking about, perhaps when you're getting down to like individual access point capability, is that all of the access points support smart mesh capability as well, which not all of our competitors APs do. So all of the APs do have that. So if there are those use cases where you do need to go in and maybe don't have a PoE switch availability or whatever it may be, then you've got that. I think the biggest one when we're really coming up against Ubiquiti is the support option. I mean, we find that the consumers within the market are just picking Ubiquiti because that's what they're used to. That's the ecosystem. That's like just their natural one that would be their go-to. Once they get Instant On within their grasp, they get familiar with it. We don't seem to have many consumers that are then going back to the Ubiquiti portfolio and they're continuing to use Instant On. And that's what's sort of growing from that strength to strength. So I think if you're going against Ubiquiti, number one would really be support. Obviously smart mesh, you don't need any of the cloud controllers, no subscription fees, license fees, so your total cost of ownership is lower as well. So really that's the kind of play that we've been speaking about from that side.
Cool. I had another question around the rebrand as well, because that's imminent, right?
That's a good question. Wasn't expecting that one, but yeah, there is one on the way. So yeah, we're looking at not next month, but the month after.
Right.
And yeah, I think, are you familiar with everything that it's changing towards? And
I think so, yeah. But I just wanted to touch on it to see kind of what impact that's going to have.
yeah, I mean, I think overall, right, so those new products that we were talking about in the AP21, the AP22D, that we touched on in the portfolio, they've all got that new rebranding on them. So they've got HP Networking Instant On, they've got the emblem. But in terms of the actual performance of the products, the capabilities, it'll be exactly the same. From that point of view, it's not that there's going to be any change in overall to the quality and the performance of the brand. It just is a change in the name in terms of that journey to one on the HPE side. So in terms of what the portfolio and the brand offers, there's not going to be I'd say a drastic change that impacts its like performance or capability. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Like I said, loads of content will be coming through regarding it, but nothing in terms of from a performance perspective that should change the brand.
Cool. Okay.
Just to touch on this NordVPN thing, it's a partnership. So I just quickly read through this. Basically, you click on you access it through the app, technology partners and promotions, and it's basically a pricing deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's no API or anything like that. Basically, I mean, I just tried it, and embarrassingly, it went to a page not found. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, to be honest. So I can look into that. I don't know how old that's 2020. So that this may well be over. Yeah. But that's what that was basically. Open the app, technology partners, and yeah. So it's not an integration as such.
No worries. I can always use it at a device level, so that's all good.
Yeah. Exactly.
My final question was, what are the best Wi-Fi SSID names that you guys have come across?
Pretty fly for a Wi-Fi.
I like that one. That's good. There was a couple I've seen recently. Mine's called Wu-Tang LAN.
Oh yeah, Wu-Tang LAN, excellent.
And I thought LAN Solo was quite good as well.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, they're not bad. Not bad ones. I think Gareth will probably have a few more better ones on them than I have.
If you're a Game of Thrones fan, there's Winternet is coming.
Like that one. The best one I ever saw was on a train from Manchester to London or vice versa. That someone had set their phone Wi-Fi to shout boobies for password.
Excellent.
Effective.
I got a chuckle out of
it. Brilliant. Well, and thanks so much for everyone's attendance. If you do need any other questions, so for example, David, I know we're looking at that Nord stuff with Gareth touched on, but if anything else comes to mind, obviously we can share the slides, then please feel free just to reach out to us, and more than happy to get back to you as soon as possible. But really appreciate your time today, and thanks so much for joining us.
No worries. Hopefully we'll get some throughput, because we've got a couple of guys on the call, and I'm quite a champion of this technology. I think it's going to be
brilliant,
a really big seller for us. So so hopefully you'll start to see some throughput soon.
Fantastic.
Glad to hear. No, thank you very much. Awesome.
And Tom, you're back in colour now.
Yeah, no.
You know what? I tapped the camera on the laptop, and it just changed from grey to colour. So I contacted the head of technology. I had sent a snapshot of the bloody greyed out photo. Started going blurry, but I'm glad. Yeah, it was such a good webinar. Maybe it does match my mood, you know.
There you go. Instant On fixes everything.
Yeah. Seeing Stell's face and hearing Gareth's voice, it's all
come back.
It's just all magic again, like the good old days of you know where, Kippy Networks.
Yeah, that's it.
Brilliant.
Great. And just to add to that as well, guys, we will have an email going around with some marketing assets for you guys to use as well. So off the back of the webinar, you can push that out on your socials or to your customers. So yeah, just to support you. But like Ollie said, we've also got the Partner Action Club. So if you sign up to that, you'll see ongoing marketing assets to help you kind of share this. So, and that will align with the new branding as well in a few months.
Sorry, I just thought of one more thing on the Action Club. They've just recently introduced also a technical advisor section. So if you do have a technical question, you can raise it on the portal, and then the team will be back to you ASAP. So that's also part of the portal. Sorry, Millie, you sparked that for me. I don't know why, but it just hit me.
You're welcome. Cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
thanks,
So-
guys. That was brilliant.
Thanks so much,
all.
guys.
And if any questions do pop up, please feel free to ask me and Stel, and we can point you in the right directions.
Have a
And
great week.
enjoy-
all.
Brilliant.
All
Thanks
good.
all.
Yeah, thanks
Cheers,
so much.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Cheers,
everyone.
guys.
Very much.
Thanks, Millie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.